that you could not only join us to watch the last game, but play in this one as Irelia, going to be the first ban. The exciting thing about games like this is that there's a lot of new people. We don't know what they play, so there's some spiciness that could go down. And when it comes to those picks that we just don't regularly see.
Aurelia taken off the table right away. Do we have anybody who names Aurelia on this one?
Xeno is a moderate Irelia, though his gameplay of her can depend on the day. I feel like there's one other person that plays her really well in the mid lane. Nong used to play a decent Irelia. I'm not sure at the moment who the best one is. Hey, Doctore coming in with the hype and adding some spice. I appreciate that, guys. If you enjoy Mass Effect or Halo, Doctore is playing through both of those. I was on his stream yesterday, hanging out with him, enjoying his gameplay. And I got to admit, I've given him some hard time before about getting lost and not knowing where to go, but I have to give him some credit. Yesterday's stream, I don't think he got lost once, and he used the map a lot more than he's used before. So some credit and some claps to Doctore for doing a pretty good job. I'll give you some credence there. As Pyke and Yasuo, those two bans from Team New Year to finish off their ban phase 1, taking out some of those more annoying champions. Pyke, one of those just crazy engage and ultimate execution champions. And I mean, can you ever go wrong when you're just banning Yasuo away? I don't think that's ever a bad ban.
Yeah, because on the way Yasuo goes is there's on one hand, he's on your team, and on the other hand, he's on the enemy team. When he's on the enemy team, he is Faker reincarnated into NA. He hits every tornado on multiple people, even if there are no people in the lane. If it's not in range, somehow he knocked up the top laner and then ulted there. I don't know how it happened. Game broke, but he's in
scripting,
top lane
obviously
and
scripting.
bot lane at the same time, killing your peoples. And then when he's on your team, he has brain damage. Somebody kicked him down the stairs, and he landed on his face every single time.
Every step down the stairs.
Yes, he managed to catch every single step with his face. And now he's playing mid lane. And how are you 0-13 at 12 minutes?
It takes some serious skill to manage something like that.
Over a death a minute.
As we do get into the picks for this game, Warwick grabbed by Nerzulian, one of his comfort picks there in the jungle, as Catinator grabs the LeBlanc. Well, talk about carry potential. That is a champion that will do it. Foul Jester, however, picking up his main of the Shaco. Dash grabbing Zed for that mid lane. So we've got some pretty good burst and head twisting moves coming out from Team Sora. The only way that you can give your opponents a little bit more of a headache when it comes to those mind games would be if you grabbed a Nico as well. Lucian, though, going to be the ADC that they pick up, who currently is sitting at a pretty decent, I don't know, S tier? He seems to be one of the best ADCs right now.
Best ADC in the entire game. Paired against the worst ADC in the entire game, which is Kalista. Kalista is a nightmare to balance for the 4 Riot balance team, probably because some genius was like, hey, I've got an idea. Why don't we give this champion a dash every time she auto-attacks?
Is that teleport, though? Is that a top lane Kalista?
Okay, I could see top lane Kalista
paired with
the jungler, so she could pull him in from the brush out of fog.
Now, this is something that Phantom of Temp actually did a handful of times in the mid lane Kalista. He went more of a blend of AP and AD, looking for some pretty good poke with the Q, and then binded to the jungler and would pull them in, or let them initially gank, and then if they went too deep underneath the turret, would use the ult to get them out after they'd already gone in and would have died to the turret, can use that to pull the jungler to safety. This would be really interesting from Jake Dragon if they do, which means that their picks in the bottom lane would be even more crucial depending on what it is that they grab.
Yeah. The funny thing is Kalista can do pretty well in top lane, in the same way that Gnar can do pretty well in top lane. But the problem is going to be if she does end up in that ADC role, because she gets outranged by literally everything. She's the shortest range ADC in the game, and it really hurts her when she's trying to play aggressive.
I'm really curious. I kind of like the Braum band, though, from the side of Team Sora. So they grabbed the Lucian, and classically speaking, a Braum-Lucian is a really good pairing. That said, Braum could have been the first pick from Team New Year when it came to their second pick phase, and taking it away, and that Unbreakable is so good at absorbing the culling from the Lucian. So instead, they chose to ban it away, grabbing instead the Master Yi and the Taric for that bottom lane as Darius and Nautilus, the last two inside of Team New Year, which means we could see Kalista, Nautilus in the bottom lane, Darius in the top. And I'm really curious now on whether or not this Kalista is going to be keeping that teleport or going with something a little bit different. And classically, you want to heal on your AD carry. Paired with the Nautilus, pretty decent choice. He's got some really good gank potential, as well as if you throw him into the enemy team, he's got I believe it's his E, to immediately slow anyone that he's been knocking up as he dives in with that ultimate. Interesting choices.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the Kalista Nautilus fairly powerful right there, but taking teleport, I believe the reason for it is going to be the fact that Kalista is going to be playing kind of a tempo game against Lucian. Going to try and force him out of mana, deal damage if she can, and farm till an item breakpoint, then back while the wave underneath Lucian's tower, and then come back with items while Lucian is forced to stay in lane for a long time, sitting on large amounts of gold. So Kalista can, the stat disadvantage and the range disadvantage won't really matter, because Kalista can duel Lucian no matter what if she has an item advantage.
Well, she did grab the heal instead, treated it out as what usually happens with the spectator bug as we tick over to the 3-minute time slot. That means that she is going to be sitting on that heal. No shocker there. You guys can't see it from spectator. The reason why we covered those up is so that if there are any really interesting switcheroos that players decide to do, it gives you guys a little bit of a more difficult time catching on to those. And that's good for us because it makes things more interesting. But with 2 minutes remaining on this timer, Foul Jester, do your best, and I will be proud of you no matter how well you do. Let's go ahead and roll through the players and their champions. For the side of Team New Year, we've got Nerzulian taking the Warwick in the jungle, Jake Dragon 717 with the Kalista in the carry role, Catinator on LeBlanc in the mid lane, Mage Runner with the Darius in the top lane, as well as Nick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, keeping it simple with the Nautilus support.
And for Team Sora, we've got
Dash.
Blank.
I just call him Dash.
Oh, Dash. I was going to call him Blank, but we'll call him Dash on Zed in the mid lane. Foul Jester taking Shaco in the
top lane.
Yes. Yeah, top lane. And then Plaque 1, 2, 3 taking Lucian in the bottom lane ADC role. Pentakill Uchina on Master Yi in the jungle, and Simon Volibear rounding it out with Tark in the bottom lane supportive role.
He's not taking the Volibear support, instead going with the Taric, as it's something that he has played once before when his Volibear gets banned away. So, interesting stuff from the side of Sora, as they are overall a fairly squishy team. Besides Taric, they're looking at using a bit more of those dash abilities and playing some mind games with their opponents. Zed being able to use the Living Shadow to move around, Master Yi with that Alpha Strike, a lot of opportunities to kind of confuse the enemy. However, the side of Team New Year has some amazing power. LeBlanc, Darius, even Warwick with that Infinite Duress is going to be able to lock down certain opponents as long as those skill shots can land. And I think they've got a good edge. The one key to me is how well does this Lucian and Shaco do when it comes to the laning phase. Because if they leave the laning phase with a bunch of kills, they could just snowball into a victory.
Definitely true. Lucian, he spikes at about the point. He doesn't ever fall off. The game ends too early for him to actually really hit his kind of lame phase, I guess you'd say, when Lucian's a lot less powerful than other ADCs, though. Kalista, he never falls off below Kalista, though. Cal is running lethal tempo instead of press the attack. Oof. Definitely. The problem is if you overcap Kalista's attack speed, it makes it almost impossible for her to jump fast, because she jumps as fast as you click. Hey!
Poison! Thank you for that raid of 5, ladies and gentlemen who are all coming in and joining us. This is XLNC Shoutcasting. We shoutcast custom League of Legends games every Tuesday and Thursday, as well as occasionally run some tournaments if you like those sorts of things. But these are custom games that you guys can join. If you look in the stream title, you can see the exclamation point join with your in-game name will give you the opportunity to join the player pool to get pulled into the next game. We are getting into game number 2 tonight, Team New Year versus Team Sora. There's definitely an edge for the side of Sora when it came to overall ranking. That said, Catinator is an incredibly good player. Do not doubt his abilities, especially on someone like this LeBlanc. So excited to see him play a game.
We proved it. Cat can't carry.
Our Zed is in Zimbabwe. Dash coming in from Zimbabwe. That's pretty amazing.
I think it's a joke considering the fact that I don't think he's even loaded now.
Could be. I'm not sure. They were saying something about Discord. I'm gonna check real quick and see if they actually have all 5 players. No, they have 4 players, and so he did say that his English was really rough as well. So that's a good question as to whether or not they.
He might actually be from Zimbabwe.
He very well could be.
Kind of very cool.
Very cool, unless he can't load into the game. Well, that means we got some more time to pick apart these teams and their players that are playing them. If you are actually, Dash, if you are from Zimbabwe, the Dash name is even more ironic considering. No, it wasn't Zimbabwe. Where is it that Usain Bolt is from? Usain Bolt is from
South Africa, I think.
South Africa. Uganda, I think, is the country that he's from. Well, close enough, maybe. Don't kill me. All right. Well, one of the things we can mention very briefly is the cool skins: Royal Shaco, Project Yi, God King Darius, Mistletoe LeBlanc, and the SKT T1 Callista skins. But breaking apart these teams a little bit more, Yi Tarek. This pairing was played so heavily last year during the gold funnel phase, which everyone would prefer to forget. I don't believe they're going to do any crazy gold funneling this game. However, they still can use the same power, that Alpha Strike into stun combo to set up for a lot of kills and some early game leads. But that means Yi's got to spend a lot of time in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and Yi, not necessarily a bad idea for him. Callista, not a very strong lane, or she's decently strong in long-term skirmishes where she can stack her spears, but in short trades, which is exactly what Lucian likes, she does not excel at all, especially when she doesn't have access to press the attack, but elected to go lethal tempo instead. Definitely going to punish herself for that. So having Yi come bottom lane, as you said, would probably be a really good idea, though I expect he will make a visit top beforehand.
Could be. Do want to make a mention, if you are in the game and are listening and on the side of Team Sora, if you're teammate of that Zed, never mind, I don't have to continue as they already went into a pause, so we don't have to worry too much about trying to explain that. Is that they are given up to 10 minutes for their team to load back into the game. Hopefully they will be doing that earlier than later. Bloodshed rated me about 250. That is insane. Poison, congratulations, on that, getting that raid. That is actually crazy. Very cool. I appreciate you passing on a number of those viewing parties to me with the host. Go to bed, Poison. Have yourself a good night. And we will be continuing the party here as we're in the pause, waiting for us to load into the game. That means we can move a handful of people around, make sure we're getting ready to roll as soon as the game gets started. But Darius versus Shaco. We've seen this pairing before in the top lane. Foul Jester really good about dropping those boxes in important positions to get that fear down, make sure you can get that harassment onto Darius. The question is, now that we've watched a number of these games facing off against Shaco, as Darius, what is, in your mind, the best way to deal with Shaco when he's constantly moving around and dropping those boxes?
well, not playing into him would kind of be my idea right there. You see, Darius, the biggest mistake people when playing against Shaco, you're going to outscale the Shaco. I mean, he doesn't really become that much of a late game threat. However, Darius, on the other hand, is incredibly impressive to play against in the late game if he has a decent CS lead. So trade around the minions. If Shaco walks up to the minion wave, land an auto attack, but don't overcommit because he's going to be standing and he's going to look like a wonderfully juicy little morsel over there, standing there with, I don't know, a third health, and you're like, all I need is an auto attack and a Q and then ult to finish him. So I'm going to go flash for it, and you're going to flash into a box every single time because it's the only thing Shaco does in lane. He baits you into running into boxes, and then you feel really stupid because you knew the box was there and you did it anyway.
And even more than that, Foul Jester is a master of using that ultimate to avoid skill shots. How many times has he used it to avoid the ultimate of Darius coming crashing down the last second? He splits himself apart and comes at you with that clone. And then Darius oftentimes can even ult the clone and lose that ultimate for a long period of time, going down again. Best way if you're going to try to kill Shaco is wait until you have those bleed stacks, then ignite him when you know that he's going to die, or just shove him out of lane and can continue to stack those minions. And during the plating, which is that new game to play, is around these plates, it's actually not a terrible idea to just force him out of lane, grab a plate back, and then come back in with a little bit more items. It's better to come back with a few more items without dying than it is to try to dive for that kill. Now, we haven't seen Mage Runner play Darius before, so excited to see how aggressive he is with that versus, as we saw in last game, Seal is one who loves to go hyper-aggressive. We'll see if Mage Runner tries to pull off that same type of thing, or if he plays a little bit more passively and thus doesn't get quite as punished by the Shaco.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the passive play or some roaming, because if he falls behind, I still don't think Shaco's going to be an amazingly impactful part of the game. Now, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Foul Jester, but as a champion in general, I think Darius is much more effective to the game, whereas Shaco does have the potential, if he's being ignored in lane, to go and roam into mid, which is what I'm expecting him to do. Now, we are at 5 minutes out of 10 is usually what we allow for here. LeBlanc versus Zed is kind of a classic matchup. LB wins before 6, and Zed wins the all-in after 6, as long as LeBlanc doesn't have a kill and access to a bit more AP, at which point she just outbursts Zed before he can get really any of his combo down. So, bottom lane we've already kind of discussed. Kalista, far worse than Thresh, though I can't remember if she can actually hit him from a certain distance away. I don't think so. Let's see. Kalista, I just like Taric better than Nautilus as a support, though. Is fine on his own and brings an obscene amount of CC to the table, but I just feel like Taric is much more designed to be a support than Nautilus is. CC isn't everything because your team is always stupid and they don't follow up on your CC. That's not to say having CC isn't a nice thing, though.
All right, so it sounds like they are going to wait for Dash to reload if he can. Otherwise, they're just going to play the 4v5, which I think actually isn't as terrible as it sounds due to the fact that Nick, Jake, Dragon, and Mage Runner are all lower when it comes to overall ranking. They are sitting somewhere between that silver level. And so we are going to get into game. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 2, Team New Year versus Team Sora. Let's see if a 4v5 can still be won by a bunch of Diamond and Plat players for the side of Team Sora. There is that mid laner that is going to be missing. So the question is, how well is this Yi, who I assume is going to mid lane instead of jungle? He might pick up his red buff and then go straight towards that mid lane, will do. Or are they going to abandon mid lane completely and just let LeBlanc free farm there for a while and hope that Yi gets fed enough off of jungle minions that they can take the laning phase, or take the team fight phase more than the laning phase?
Yeah, I think it would be dangerous to give up mid lane and give that kind of advantage over.
Oh, LeBlanc gonna walk into 2. She's gonna immediately stunned by the Taric. Even Black 1-2-3's here hanging out. Not able to get a shot off though, as he's a little bit off to the side. And I think he went with that Q. Yeah, he decided not to go with that relentless pursuit early on. But that is going to force LeBlanc to recall, which means a little bit of pressure taken off for the side of Team Sora. And they're gonna need all the help that they can get in a currently 4v5.
And we're hoping that Zed reconnects.
Wait. Zeno brings up a good point. Diablo 3, that's what I mainly play as well. Yeah, Poison, I have enjoyed your Diablo streams before. I loved the Diablo discussion that we had back when Blizzard had that situation. So, hold on. This is where we're going to see some interesting strategies, maybe. Was that we could have had the funnel strategy with Taric in the mid lane and Yi running around and Lucian trying to solo in the bottom lane. However, we're not going to have that. Instead, it is going to be that duo in the bottom lane, and Yi's going to continue to jungle, which means it's LeBlanc free farming the mid lane for at least a while.
So if LeBlanc is free farming, she's going to get access to a ton of gold early with little to no punish. She should have close to perfect CS.
Good burst on Jake Dragon in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and that means that if she has access to a lot of gold, she's going to have access to a lot of items. Lots of items mean lots of damage, and lots of damage means you die.
Yeah, I think that in this situation, even though, Jake Dragon maybe going down the bottom lane, first blood over to Lucian, good play there, and didn't even need the stun from Taric. It was just a good catch by Plaque 1-2-3, even burns through the healing that the Callista tried to output. But even with that, I still think that it would favor Team Sora to have that Yi in the mid lane. He picked up the double buffs, though, and now heads to the mid lane to try to catch the wave that LeBlanc is starting to crash. So we'll see how Yi handles dealing with the damage that LeBlanc is outputting that mid lane. As a good hook from Nautilus will pull Lucian in to get shot by the tower, knocked down to about half in the top lane. Foul Jester. Ooh, I like Mage Runner. He's playing wisely around these boxes. He gets a little bit of damage and immediately backs off. So doing pretty well up there, but he's burned through all potions at this point.
He is going to have to end up healing back and using some more of to maintain relevance inside the lane. Once he gets poked out to a certain extent, he won't be able to offer much of a threat. The most dangerous, I guess you could say.
Oh, wait, Nautilus, you're getting stunned up in the bottom lane. Nick may be going down as Plaque has been ignited. He's not going to find the kill. Something to note in that bottom lane is that 4 CS on Callista, who's just been harassed heavily out of lane. It's Foul Jester on the top side, low mana, so Mage Runner decides to go in, ignite for ignite. Foul Jester maybe going down with the turret shot. Gonna make it a trade at 1-for-1 as Jake Dragon is continuing to get no CS in this bottom lane. 4 CS to 21 at this point is just ridiculous. Alpha Strike from Yi, Pentakill, Uchiha going in on Nerzulian. He has level 4 and the red buff as well. Nerzulian may be forced to use the Ghost to escape. Is joined by Catinator though, who's gonna find the chains as well. Ignite being burning down on this Yi. I think Pentakill with that flash may be able to get out. Catinator trying to follow, needs a couple more auto attacks to finish him off. He's underneath the turret. Catinator may dive forward, just an auto from max range, take out Yi and get out with a free kill.
Very, very well played right there. Yi does end up going down, unfortunately not picking up any kills for himself. Plaque in the bottom lane going. I thought he was gonna get it. That was almost super cheeky right there. Did he have flash up? No, he didn't. Wait, he had heal though. He could have used the speed buff from heal. Foul Jester picking a fight that I don't think he can win. Yeah, just taking a substantial amount of damage right there. Some of the bleed coming through, and also giving the heal over to Mage Runner right there. And is the recall going to come through? No, Nick is going to interrupt the one from Simon Volibear and get a decent amount of damage down. Simon Volibear in danger of going down. If the hook ends up coming back through, he is going to die. But still down.
No mana real on the Nautilus. Even if a hook had come through, there wasn't going to be much more there to be said. So Volibear is allowed to recall. Keep in mind, there is an Infernal Drake on the map. And Yi, one of the really fast champions at clearing away those Drakes. He's continuing to clear jungle camps and then head to the mid lane whenever a wave goes to crash on her, which means LeBlanc is trying to slow farm it. Interesting choice by Foul Jester in that top lane, finishing off 2 amplifying tomes as his first back, so he's going more of an AP route. We'll see how that handles into Mage Runner as he steps forward. And actually, when he backed, he picked up the Oracle Lens super early, which means he can pop those boxes before he gets too heavily damaged by them. As soon as that Oracle Lens goes over the Shaco, it alerts them, wakes them up, and now he's able to recall to try to buy some more items.
That is an incredible pickup right there from Darius. Very good heads-up play. It's so obvious, but we see so few players actually do it, and it's very difficult to play into. Of course, you sacrifice any ability to ward for yourself.
Oh, wait, Cloud going forward. He's just bursting out the Callista. Simon Volibear didn't even have the stun in time, but with that stun, they are able to CC Nick with the exhaust as well. I don't think the hook's going to come through in time, and it's a double kill for the Lucian, who's starting the game off 3-0, sitting at another 1,000 gold. Katnir's actually just chilling in the bush, pops the top hat as well. Pentakill Uchiha has no idea this LeBlanc is here, so she goes forward now, takes away the blue buff, and should be able to get the kill on Yi as well. Those ethereal chains going to CC him for a moment, and she actually allows him to escape. Instead, going to be recalling, just focus on picking up that blue. It's 3 members from the side of Team Sora wrap around the Infernal Drake, but decide not to go in. Foul Jester in that top lane. There it is! The ultimate! But it doesn't matter. Mage Runner drops the last bit of damage needed. The bleed good enough. The clone not going to do anything. And despite good timing in the ultimate from the Shaco, he still goes down.
That's the thing. Darius playing very patient until he got some of his items. He's a little more powerful, his burst damage is strong, and he's taking 2 successful trades against this Shaco.
Oh, double stun in the bottom lane. Jake Dragon low. It does have heal and flash though, so I don't think a kill is going to come through quite yet. But Plaque's still in a dominating position, and they need that. Again, keep in mind, this is a 4v5, so once it comes to the laning phase, or outside of the laning phase, they're going to be a man down for every team fight.
And being a man down for every team fight is no small thing to shake a stick at. Hold on a second.
Wait, the flash forward from Tarek to get the stun onto Jake. He's going to be dropping. LeBlanc is coming down here. The ultimate from Tarek. That's going to be avoiding all damage for the moment as the ultimate comes through from the Lucian. And LeBlanc popped in with the distortion and the ultimate and immediately left as well, sensing that as soon as Tarek started that ultimate, it was time to leave. And that is just another 2 kills over to Plaque 1, 2, 3.
Certainly. And the LeBlanc has been mostly held to 1 kill despite the fact that she's had access to basically free farm all game. You'd expect to see her roaming a lot more as she has no one to lock her down in the lane. Just shove in the wave and run top. Shove in the wave and run bot. Shove in the wave and go into the enemy jungle. But do something, get something done. That's the way you're going to become a worthwhile part of the team right now.
And that's what I'd rather see her focus on, that bottom lane, and come down a lot more often, because Mage Runner is playing this Darius versus Shaco in the top lane so nicely. Even despite getting feared, is able to get a little bit of damage onto the Shaco, who comes back in after ulting Yi, doing some pretty good damage. Mage Runner not concerned with that, wants to get rid of the clone first of that Shaco, which means he can now push in knowing that ultimate's down from that Shaco.
There's nothing left to eat again.
Oh. Pentakill gonna be caught out by Catinator, who's got the roam. This is what we're talking about when there's no problem. Catinator, was thinking about going over the wall. Yi flashed, and that's going to keep him safe for the moment as Foul Jester trying to run away on this top side with that 5-man advantage. Happy New Year is able to take away the early Drake. It is that Infernal, so more damage to the side of blue team as Foul Jester is trying to play around these boxes. Extremely low health.
There's one in the bush.
Darius is aware of that. He's in this rush, but he's going to be hit by the fear. Can Shaco get out? He hops over the Decimator.
Oh!
The
turnaround!
Mage Runner goes down with some nice play from that Shaco.
The use of the box there was beautiful. Darius aggroed it in the brush, and then as soon he stays in range, trying to finish off the kill. Hold on, Nick might be going down here. The culling comes through, and it is going to be Nick falling again to this Lucian. What we said in Champions, like most powerful ADC in the game right now versus the least powerful ADC in the game right now. And Nautilus, not a lot he can do to facilitate the Kalista not really being very effective in lane. Nautilus really can only do one thing: go in. And you don't want to go in when you're this far behind.
Yeah, she's kind of like he's kind of like Leona, but even worse. When I'm playing Leona as a support main, you are a full engaged champion. Besides the ultimate that you can toss and then back away. Nautilus, not so much. He's going all in. Underneath the turret now, Simon Volibear getting the ultimate down, but the CC, is that going to be enough? It is, and takes out Nautilus as well. So another 2 kills over to the side of Team Sora as that ultimate from Tarek, beautifully used. It is a Cosmic Radiance to make sure that they absorb all those turret shots and can now pick off that turret as well. So first turret gold over to Team Sora, and the 4v5 looking pretty successful as Foul Jester going to find Mage Runner on the top side underneath the turret. Just harasses him out and clears the wave.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm actually really pleased to see the fact that the 4 side of the 4v5 is winning for once.
Well, one of those things is when you go into the game knowing that it's going to be a 4v5, they had time to strategize how they wanted to play. They were sitting at about 6 minutes during that pause, which means there was some communication time to sit on Discord, talk about what they were going to do, where they wanted to go, how they wanted to play. And it looks like Yi kind of being just the cleanup man. He takes care of the jungle and then cleans up the wave in the mid lane. Sure, he's not getting a lot of kills and popping off, but he is able to keep
my soldiers march on
the mid lane as Catinator has been able to pick up 72 CS, but not much more than that. And Black is going to flash forward, and he gets the last auto attack. Goes legendary, picking off LeBlanc in the mid lane. Crazy for a league. I appreciate the follow as well.
First time in the game doing really well for himself. That is the ultimate down. Mage Runner not falling for the boxes this time. Off the Oracle lane. He's like, he knocks down the ultimate. And meanwhile, top lane turret. No, I'm sorry. Moving lane turret is going to fall. Black moving all over the place. Taking his 8-0, 1,000 gold bounty and throwing it around against all these different games. Foul Jester gonna go in on Mage Runner under the turret, but he's out of mana and he's gonna get dunked. But Platt comes in, cleans up the kill. So that's gonna be a trade, but that's gonna be 300 more gold on his already retardedly fed Lucian. He's got Bork and a BF sword. He has a lot more room to scale. He's in a grand position, has knocked down bot lane, mid lane, and now he's going to start knocking down top lane. And they can actually get this because turret plating just fell, and one more wave will give it to them. But wait, no, dude.
Oh, Simon Volibear is tanking up a couple of turret shots. Might go down to this last one. Oh, gets away with a sliver of health until Warwick comes in. But there's the Cosmic Radiance. It's not going to come down in time. However, Black has got it, and he's going to drop the Calling Nerzulian, sidestepping it. Actually gets the reset and cues to a minion. Can he walk away? No. The last shot comes through once again. Black is just so good on this Lucian with his timing. I wanted to check out that gold as he's cusping 9,000 gold in this game, which is just insane considering that he's doubling most of his team and the enemy team's gold.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen someone pop off on Lucian like this. Really liking seeing this happen from Black, especially for his debut on the stream. He might get himself a named champion, so to speak. You know, on the stream, people ban your stuff away, so Plaque might find himself never playing Lucian again.
Yeah, I mean, it might be one of those 100% bans. We've seen it happen before when Cody was popping off on Thresh. It got banned against him all the time. So if you play regularly on the stream, keep your eye on this Plaque123. Maybe force him to pick up a different ADC. Is Nick going to be in trouble? He decides to go in, throwing everything onto the Lucian and then flashing. But the Relentless Pursuit is on such a low cooldown at this point with that Essence Reaver. He's going to take out the Nautilus, who's currently 0-5. And that's the great thing about this particular game is that Plaque123 was in a normal laning phase in the bottom lane and crushed, pairing so well with Simon Volibear. This wasn't a lane in which the player was AFK. This was just a normal bottom lane, decimated, and now has rotated that power to pick up a 4th turret. This guy is on a roll as Darius finally gets a 2nd turret for the Team New Year. The stun onto Catinator forces the flash and the distortion, however, goes right back in, but gets dropped by Plaque. Warwick's gonna miss the ultimate as well. Ignite ticking away onto Lucian, who uses Relentless Pursuit to get over the wall, and Simon Volibear keeps him alive as well. Beautiful play out of Plaque on this Lucian. This is just insane as Foul Jester decides to go in. They got the double man stun. This is what Team Sora needs to put the final nails into the coffin. Nerzullian gets a 3-man fear with the clone of Shaco as well, but it's going to mean nothing until the team just burns through them, and now they can move on to the inhibitor turret in the mid lane as Darius is 1v1ing Pentakill Uchiha on the top side on that Yi, but leaving his base open for Sora's pickings.
And it's going to be the mid lane inhibitor dropping Plaque, playing aggressively forward. That's not what you're supposed to do into a LeBlanc. You're supposed to be scared of the LeBlanc. Of course, when you have 12 kills at 17 minutes, I don't think you're really scared of anybody. Definite 2 items completed. He's going to go back and pick up that black cleaver probably, and once he's got that under his belt, it's pretty much game over. It's already game over, but it's more game over at that point. So it's kind of a tale of bot lane right now, which is really pleasant because I haven't seen a decent bot lane. Oh, what? Foul Jester just appears and kills Callista.
Yeah,
He's gonna get himself over for it. Shut down Gold, going over to Mage Runner. Probably who you didn't want to have it. To be honest, Darius can be a little expensive to play against. But with this far ahead as Lucian is, I doubt he's going to hear a rip about it. Hold on. Why is Simon Volibear soloing the Rift Arrow?
Well, because Plaque is coming in, and Nerzullian, forced to run, uses the ultimate to get over the wall with the edge of his life. Mage Runner coming in, though he's against 3 until Nick joins him, but it's a 3v2, and the flash not going to be able to save much as Nick on the run will be dropped. Uchiha picks it up, and he's still got that speed boost, so might try to follow Mage Runner underneath the turret. They instead decide to back away and go right back to the Rift Herald to pick that up, because keep in mind, this is only 18 minutes into the game. They have a 10,000 gold lead in a 4v5. This is where, when you are playing a ranked game and someone leaves and you want to tilt, this is proof that if you play your heart out and you know your champion, you can still easily claim victory even in a 4v5 situation, as Catinator tries to go over the wall and pick off the blue buff, but unable to do so. Now has to run away, but Plaque123 says, I am on your tail, LeBlanc. I got your number. The clone's going to be popped. He's chasing him down, but the distortion from Catinator gives himself away. The flash will avoid the hook from the Nautilus as well. Plaque123 picks up 1, and that's going to be 2 on to Nick as well. There's 2. Moving on to Mage Runner for number 3. His namesake is good. Nerzullian's around the corner as well. Maybe this will be a 2nd pentakill of the night. They decide to back off, though, wanting to avoid that bottom lane.
Summoner's reconnected!
Turret. And to make things even more spicy, Zed returns to the game after a Windows update. So this is really interesting at this point. You've got 4 members that are doing quite well. Zed is coming in super, super behind. He's got no gold to his name. He could just be a feeding point, which would give a lot of gold back to Team New Year. Like, well, do you just sit Zed in the jungle and grab CS slowly?
I'd maybe do Baron with a lot of XP for that. Mage Runner versus E in the top on the Alpha Strike. Gonna dodge out on the ultimate from Nautilus. He's gonna dodge out on it again. He's going to end up getting himself 2 kills, but get knocked down by the LeBlanc's burst at the very end of it. So not going to pick up the 3rd for himself. Meanwhile, Plaque and Simon Volibert are moving down towards the Drake. We don't quite know what it is, but it must be at least decently important for them to waste time taking it on spawn.
Yeah, it is another Ocean Drake. It's going to be the second Drake actually to the side of Team Sora, despite Warwick picking up 1 for their own team. That Infernal not going to be able to do that much. And at this point, the Darius having picked up 4 kills is nice, but I really think you want to give everything to LeBlanc, because if you can't burst this Lucian out, you're going to be in trouble. There's not a whole lot that you're going to be able to do to stop him just walking over the rest of your team. So Catinator sitting off to the side with the control ward. This might be his one opportunity to be able to do so. Goes in for the burst, but the Plaque just walks away. I don't even think he used Relentless Pursuit. He did. He did use it to avoid the distortion from LeBlanc, but now she's forced to recall. Culling used by Lucian as well. Shaco doesn't get the fear though, so that means LeBlanc has been able to escape and get back to the turret, or back to the fountain. However, Shelly has been popped. Is this going to be a dancing Shelly as the first inhibitor turret goes down? Mage Runner trying to do what he can to clear the way, the rubble of these minions coming in. Warwick goes in with the infinite duress. Will it be enough to stop Shelly? She does go down. There's no dancing Shelly this time, but Plat 1, 2, 3 takes out 1, clears out the Callista. Mage Runner drops as the Yi is going wild. Uchiha goes into the fountain as well. Alpha Strike going to be destroyed, so is shut down. Darius is able to pick up the kill, but the rest of the team doesn't care. Team Sora soars through the enemy team base, cleans them up, and is now working their way onto the Nexus itself. They're just playing around with Catinator. Foul Jester, actually he escapes the fountain damage for the moment, but Catinator still gets the shutdown. Blasts a little bit of damage. Wait, they got trolled. The inhibitors have respawned. They can't pick off the fountain just yet, the Nexus just yet, as the inhibitors have all spawned back. They're gonna have to clear 1 before they can get back onto that Nexus.
Yeah, 15-0 is the Lucian right now. Plaque, hold on, the ult has been pulled in and thrown back out to absolutely 0 effect. Zed walking around, it is going to be...
Oh, the 2-man knock-up. Simon Volibert finds a 2-man stun himself, but he's been ignited. Hits the blast cone to go over the wall. Zed trying to get the pop onto Catinator. Gets some pretty good damage. Dash now has to back away, but feared by the Warwick, and the 3-pack members of Team New Year take out 1. Can they get Plaque? That's the question. He uses the heal to get himself out, and Team New Year, with a beautiful luck around those inhibitors, now find themselves actually victorious in one of their first few fights of the game.
Now we're going to see where Lucian's build ends up going. It looks like he's going toward that Infinity Edge, a little bit of late game scaling he's looking for there. I don't think the game's going to last long enough to have a real late game, considering that they're 2-man and Baron as we speak. Simon Volibert and Pentakill are on Baron. Got it down to half health. He is going to be really actually very good at soloing down Baron. And that is going to be Baron taken off the table, and that's probably just going to be the game. They can walk down bot and mid bot and top simultaneously.
Nick tries to go in but misses the hook. Foul Jester's clone sitting off to the side playing with Nerzulian as the Warwick tries to go in. Mage Runner flashes over the wall. They might find the kill, but the golden stopwatch used by the Shaco to buy a little bit of time for the Lucian to pick up 1 kill on the Warwick. They finally get their trade on that Shaco, but minions, cannon minions, are on the Nexus itself as the Lucian continues to burn through left, right. LeBlanc finally picks up the shutdown on that Lucian, but Zed gets his own onto the Nautilus. So 1,000 gold goes to LeBlanc, and he's got another 1,000 gold bounty sitting on his head, ready to go again.
I wonder if he has a 3rd on his head.
It might be a 3rd at this point. 17, 1, and 7. That was his first time dying at the 24-minute mark. Better bot lane wins. Mexican God 97. You couldn't have said it better in this game, as the Nexus is down to about half. The Baron up super minion slowly being taken out. Cosmic Radiance used by Simon Volibert just to delay the inevitable before he eventually goes down. There's the teleport in from the Shaco, though. They take out the Tarek, but it's a Yi here. Alpha striking in, taking out the Warwick. Jake Dragon gonna drop to the super minions and the Yi, who wants that kill credit. Mage Runner heal not gonna be enough, and Yi says, guys, it's It's time to end the game. I'm going to get myself a pentakill, even if it means I have to die of the fountain. No, he only ends up with a quadra kill. And LeBlanc comes out with a double kill, but I don't think she's got the wave clear to stop these super minions from continuing to harass down the Nexus itself.
Wait, is it gonna be Zed that ends the game? Please let it be so.
No, I think the minions did that. Hold on, let's back it up real quick. I want to see what happened here. They may have just surrendered as well. The Nexus down to about a quarter health. The minions burning it down. Oh, Zed gave them the Baron empowerment, and that's all they needed to take out the game. Ladies and gentlemen, victory for Team Sora, despite for almost the entirety of the game being a 4v5. That was actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, I like seeing 4v5 victories. Nice. Flicker. Okay, so MVPs, honorable mentions, and shoutouts. So for Team New Year, honorable mention, I want to give Mage Runner the honorable mention. He played that matchup exactly like he should, and he ended up picking up that Oracle's Lens super early, and he navigated the matchup perfectly. Did manage to get outplayed one time in the top lane, but all in all played the matchup very well and was still impactful in the late game. MVP, though, going to go over to Catnator in that mid lane. The LeBlanc, the only threat that could be found to Plaque, constantly one-shotting other important members of the team, but still not...
Still not enough.
Not even close.
I do like, though, for the winning side, do you agree with the chat that Zed obviously should get MVP for the Baron empowerment of the super minions taking out the Nexus? I mean, best play. But I mean, the 4v5 was basically lost until Zed showed up, gave those minions the Baron empowerment. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, definitely worth. No, I'm going to give honorable mention...
He's thinking, ladies and gentlemen. He's got his thinking face on.
I think Pentakill deserves it because of his impact in the game. Though Simon Volibear is a decent
contender
there. Yeah. Yeah, Simon Volibear is a pretty good argument. I just feel like he had more impact on the game as a whole. Whereas, though, I mean, the game was won through bot lane. So yeah, I'll give the shout out to Pentakill and the honorable mention to Simon Volibear and the MVP to Plaque because the game was won through bot and he had little impact on the way that lane was going. It was going to go that way regardless.
Right. The bottom lane did so well for the side of Team Sora that they were going to be able to crush. Pentakill Uchiha wasn't exactly victorious in his own right in making sure that bottom lane happened. That said, the one thing that Pentakill Uchiha had going for him was the ability of being able to clear the minion wave and then clear the mid lane, making sure that LeBlanc didn't get a whole lot of time to roam. The Catinator mostly had to sit in that mid lane, focusing on just clearing those minion waves because Yi, being such a great wave clear champion, just came in, one-shot them, and he also was double timing because he continuously had to go into his own jungle, clear those jungle camps as well. So really good on Pentakill Uchiha overall for basically taking on the double role of jungle and mid lane, despite really not being able to do much more when it came to the map. And that's where on Foul Jester and Plaque, being able to kind of win or at least hold their side lanes was so critical in a 4v5 situation.
Definitely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a very short break, but when we get back, we hope you will join us for game number 3. We've got a couple new people to pull in, and a couple of people who've already played. We'll pull them in for game number 3. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.